The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our IN.FORM webinar today, March 29th, 2016, where you have a chance to get your IN.FORM questions answered by our esteemed panel of experts that we have on the line with us, and we'll introduce them in just a moment. But again, so honored to have all of you with us on this last Tuesday of the month of March. It's a little chilly here in Utah. Looking out the window, we've got a nice dusting of snow on the mountains surrounding our valley, and there was a little bit of snow on my grass this morning, but it's supposed to be 70 by the weekend, so things are looking good. I hope they're looking good where you're at too. Let me just get rid of this crazy screen. Okay. Well, again, welcome one and all. My name is Scott Terry. I have the pleasure of being the host on today's IN.FORM webinar. I have the opportunity of serving as the manager of regional sales in the eastern part of our country, and it's always a pleasure of mine to participate in our fairly regularly on our weekly webinars. So we're going to have a great discussion, and we hope that you have a lot of questions that you might have thought of or will think of over the course of the next little bit, because again, here is a wonderful opportunity for us to get those questions addressed by our panel of experts. So I think by now you probably know how all of that works. There's a little box on your screen where you can type in a question, and that comes back to me, and we'll make sure that we ask or save enough time at the end of the webinar to answer all of the questions that come in. So be thinking about those, and we'll get you some good answers. So as mentioned, let's hear from our experts. We've invited three coaches that are part of a very select group of IN.FORM coaches that make up what we call our IN.FORM committee. These are ladies and gentlemen that have been assembled because they are, first and foremost, just outstanding coaches. They've embraced the IN.FORM program. They have taught several groups, each of them. They understand the program very thoroughly, and they just are great ambassadors for what the IN.FORM program is designed to do. This group of ambassadors we have brought out to home office on a couple of occasions to help guide us as we look to the future with IN.FORM, as we make adjustments and create new marketing pieces to help all of you as coaches feel like you have all the resources you need to get out and to share your passion of IN.FORM with others. So today we have three of those committee members that I'm excited to introduce to you now. On the left of your screen, we have Jennifer Scarangella, who comes to us from the great state of Missouri, Independence, Missouri area. We have Linda Lalonde in the middle. Linda, as you know, is one of our probably the coach that's taught the most groups anywhere in the country. And we've had Linda online with us in the past for our IN.FORM webinars several times. So we're excited to have Linda back. And then on the right, we have Lillian Dorito, who comes to us from the Rochester, well, actually, let's get a little more specific. She comes to us from Ellicottville, New York, which is a beautiful town in upstate New York, where she works as a practitioner as an IN.FORM coach. One of the uniquenesses to Lillian is she is a citizen of both U.S. and Mexico, and she has done so well with the IN.FORM program that we actually had her be part of the launch of IN.FORM not too long ago in Mexico City. So Lillian helped us get IN.FORM kicked off in Mexico, and all the while does a great job with her groups here in the States. So these are our experts, and we're looking forward to having them share their unfiltered wisdom, unfiltered advice with all of us. So as you're preparing your questions, and again, please feel free to start typing those in. As you're preparing the questions you'd like to ask our panel of experts, I've thought of a couple maybe just to get our conversation kicked off. So first, ladies, and Jennifer, I'm going to start with you if you don't mind. What is it that you feel makes you a successful IN.FORM coach? What resonates with you? What is your passion about being an IN.FORM coach?
I love not just the weight loss side of it, but how we really touch on our emotional health and our stress levels. And it's really a holistic program. And with my background in social work, I'm really able to work a little bit deeper with my clients on the emotional side of eating. And that's really kind of, I think, what sets me apart from some other coaches. But it really, having the program along with my educational background has fit beautifully and has really allowed me to help a lot of my women battle some eating disorders along with just, the regular emotional eating of, the boredom, the stress, and, all of our, our hormones. And so that's been a really great blessing.
Mm. You have, you personally, I know you fairly well, and I hope you don't mind me sharing this, but in the past you've had some of those emotional eating challenges, haven't you? You've made quite a change in your life through the years, a lot of that prior to becoming an IN.FORM coach. But as you suggested, that's really, it kind of helped you develop a feeling of empathy for the people that you're working with. Is that fair to say?
Yes. I, myself, I wish I would have had the IN.FORM program when I was going through some of my stuff, because it really touches home on so many different issues, as opposed to some other weight loss programs that I was trying to work through. So yeah, and I use IN.FORM even today for myself. I live IN.FORM just as, I want my clients to live IN.FORM. So I'm really doing it with them, and I'm there for them through their journey.
Okay, excellent. A somewhat related question, Jennifer, and I'm going to give you the question and let you think about it. We'll come back to you in just a moment. But if you can be thinking what some of your best practices are as a coach, some of the ideas perhaps that you've incorporated into your groups that are unique, that you feel like kind of set your group up for great success. Okay, so be thinking about that. Okay. And then we'll come back to you here momentarily. Let's ask Linda the same question that we started off with. And Linda, what is it that you feel makes you such a successful coach?
Well, I agree with Jennifer. I love the holistic plan. I love the holistic program because we are so much different than any other weight loss program out there. So I feel like that that brings a whole new energy to the group, because it's not all about weight loss. It is about just being healthy, and it's about putting yourself first, which a lot of people don't do anymore these days. I love the energy that my groups have. I love the energy that I bring to them, because I encourage them, and I also let them know that they can do it. And it's I don't want to say I don't coddle them anymore, but I push them maybe a little bit more than they pushed themselves before. And I feel like I bring that to the group, which they like, because they truly want to be well. They just have to have the tools to do it. So it's a perfect combination having IN.FORM class, because I give them the tools, but I also give them the encouragement and the strength they need to actually achieve those goals.
That is good, Linda. That's profound to me. I think if we were to define the word coach, what you said is the perfect definition. If you picture yourself coaching a basketball team, you're going to teach your team the tools, give them the tools to be successful. But as you said, a big part of the role of a coach is to hold them accountable, not coddle them, work with them with love, with patience, but hold them accountable. And there's no question that that's helped you succeed so well as a coach. I love it. I'd like you to also be thinking about some of your best practices. Okay, so ponder that for a moment, and we'll come back to you. And Lillian, let's welcome you to our webinar today, and we're excited to have you representing Ellicottville and New York. And we would love to hear from you. Just what is it that makes you passionate about being an IN.FORM coach and makes you so successful?
Thank you, Scott. Well, to me, it has been I like a full circle, basically, because I have been with Nature Sunshine for 20 years, and it's just, it's like the landing of all this passion about health and how to put it together to transmit it and to communicate it and to share it with more than one person. You know, just when you're doing a consultation, you're taking care of one person, but when you're doing IN.FORM, you take care of a group. And it could be as big as we want, as we can, or we want to have it, right? So it's just, it's like a viral type of passion, actually. And I love teaching. I love the educational part of Nature Sunshine Forever. I think that's been I feel that that's one of my strongest, you know, parts that I can totally feel the passion for. And so when I teach my classes, I think that my enthusiasm and, you know, sharing testimonies and sharing the updated information that we always have, you know, that we're trying to be with the latest in holistic health, I think that is a very important part that I have felt that has helped me, because people then trust you. You know, they find this point of, okay, I can trust this person, you know, she knows what, she has lived this. I always try to, I think people feel that, right, when you are living this every day in your life and your with your lifestyle, with your family, you know, sharing how you raise your children in a natural way. And then this part is really, I love it, because we are the communicators or the sharing people for the new generations, and that really, it's amazing that we can impact the new generations and new children coming into teenagers coming into adults to have a better health. And what a better way to do it when we can, you know, to IN.FORM with this amazing program that I just absolutely love. And of course, for me, the doors have been opened even more because I speak Spanish too, and I come from Mexico, and so I have been able to share it down in my country too. But I just think it's such an incredible, powerful tool that it's gonna continue to change lives right and left, and that is very passionate to me. Like I feel that having that opportunity, it's amazing, and that's how I feel. I think it's just an incredible round of enthusiasm and sharing all this passion that we feel for a better health.
Mm-hmm. Excellent, Lillian. I feel your passion. I sense it. I've seen it, and there's no question that you're blessing a lot of lives, both here and in Mexico. As I mentioned, you were part of the IN.FORM launch in Mexico. Just maybe give us an idea of the reception of the program while you were there. Were they as excited as we are up here in the States?
Oh, absolutely. I think that it has been very successful, and it has grown a lot in this is their first year down there. And I had the opportunity to share my experience at convention in Mexico last year in Cancun in May. But it was just starting, but people were very interested and intrigued to know what was happening. You know, so we shared some testimonies, and I think that people feel the same way. You know, it's just an incredible program to reach more people, to get to more in our communities, and to do it in a social environment. Of course, you know, Latin countries are so social to begin with. So this just was like it's just the perfect touch, you know, to bring more people into natural health. And it's growing and it's growing a lot. Now, they just launched the essential oils too, and you know, they're trying to incorporate them into the IN.FORM program as well. And more certifications are being, you know, achieved, and so the growth and the interest that people are showing down there, which is great.
Well, that's exciting. Yeah, thank you for that. I know that based on the results we've seen here domestically, our vision at Nature Sunshine is to carry the IN.FORM program worldwide to our different Nature Sunshine markets in Europe, in the Orient, in Central South America, and so on. So that's what all of you folks today are part of and helped blaze the path for. So that is so exciting to know that that we're just an instrument in changing for the better so many people's lives. Lillian, thank you. And I'll come back to you in just a moment too if you have a best practice or two that you would like to share with our group, and then we'll continue with some of the questions that have been shared so far. So Jennifer, let's come over to you once again and give you an opportunity to share what is called a best practice, something that you feel you do really well that lends to great success with your IN.FORM program.
With my IN.FORM program, some of the successes that I've seen, I really incorporate a lot of group activities. So when we're talking about our successes and struggles, for each week, really incorporating, yes, the coach's input, but also getting the group involved and having each group member, give, suggestions or recognition to that member, and so that really helps to boost morale and to build the community of our group and to make this a stronger connection and for each other to trust one another so they are comfortable discussing their lives every week with each other. I also have group homework assignments that I give and individual homework assignments as well. So bringing in your healthy meal that you made this week that was your favorite meal that was new for you, and bringing that recipe to class so everybody can take that home and enjoy it as well. Also taking group walks every once in a while. We schedule those out, and that way it's just takes us out of that learning environment and gets you out into nature, which is also it helps with our stress levels and other things as well. And another thing that I've really seen that helps my clients, because we can't talk about everything during a group, I do schedule monthly meetings individually with my members, and they're just 20, 30 minutes long, just to touch base on some things that maybe they didn't feel comfortable discussing during class, and if they're having any other health problems going on that may be inhibiting their success. And so that is one thing that I offer my clients that they all really seem to appreciate. Mm-hmm.
Okay, excellent. So the social ability or the social discussion you have, that you take them outdoors, the individual consultations during the month are part of what has helped you be so successful?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Jennifer. Miss Linda.
You're welcome.
What are some of your best practices? And I'm going to share a couple if you don't bring them up, okay?
You've heard me speak before, Scott.
I sure have, and I love it.
Well, as I've said over and over and over to every person I've met, I make it the 1 hour of the week that they are looking forward to it. I take the yuck out of getting healthy. I take the scary out of doing it. So it's definitely the group mentality. But I also make it fun. I make it that hour that they don't want to blow off. Life is busy. We all have a lot to do. So when they come in my door, they don't know what they're going to get that night. And some days I'm not even sure because I have a lot of classes. But they always have a good time. They always want to see each other. They are in this together, and I'm introducing them to new cool concepts, A lot of this is all new to them, the natural world. So I just make it as fun as I can, and I offer a lot of sessions as well. So if they miss one, I take away all excuses because there's another one they can catch that day or they can catch the next day. So it's getting the job done in a way that doesn't make it scary, makes it great.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I've had the pleasure of sitting in on at least one, maybe two of your classes in the past, and I can certainly attest to the fact that they are fun. They're very energetic. You just make everybody feel comfortable, as I'm sure all three of you experts do. Yeah, so I will witness to what you're sharing. One of the things that I wanted to bring up, if you didn't mention it, is just how creative you are in putting together classes. I know, for example, you have a designated class just for young moms that you've put together at a time that works well for them after maybe they've dropped the kids off to preschool. Can you tell us some of the unique groups that you've had a chance to create?
Oh, I try to do all different kinds of classes because there's so many, there's so many different niches you could hit in this arena. I have had men's classes. I've had I had a film group that used to come here instead of going to see a film for 12 weeks. I have a preschool mom class. We're doing a bridal boot camp coming up here. We're doing a combination class where they're going to learn how to more of an applied class, so they're going to cook at the same time. I do walking club classes. I do whatever I come up with. I think that's my marketing background, sneaking out from 25 years ago before the naturopath world. But I just try to make it of interest to different groups because there's so many different, like I said, there's so many different little groups out there, and they want to do this. They just want the support of other people. So I'll come up with any group.
I love that. So folks, those of you that are listening to our webinar today, I think that's a huge takeaway from our discussion, and that is that think of the myriad of groups that are out there that if you could just perhaps get a little bit of an in with one of them, you could have a group for bird watchers. You could have a group for people that like to crochet. I mean, I'm just thinking off the top of my head, and maybe these aren't the best examples, but I think the point is that any kind of group that exists, I think could be a candidate for their own group of informed participants. Linda certainly had success with that approach. Excellent. Thank you, Linda. Lillian, how about you? What are some of your best practices that you've developed through your coaching experience?
Thank you. Well, I also try to make the classes as light and fun as possible, and I like the rewarding part of it. Like sometimes I bring like 3 or 4 roll-ons with an essential oil combination and just raffle them or reward, to the ones that have achieved their goals that week and stuff like that. I think that part of the IN.FORM program is a very important. People like that. People like to be recognized, even when they might not like to be, mentioned or something. But I think deep inside, they do, because they are being recognized for their efforts, and that feels good, especially when they see they have dropped a size, they feel that they are fitting in their clothes that they were not fitting before and stuff like that. So those rewards are always good with product, or sometimes, raffling other the spa therapy within our practice and stuff like that. I also I do a follow-up with an email right after each class, and I mentioned briefly what we talked about, point out the main topics of the class, and then reminding them of their homework, to read the chapter, to answer the question at the end, and to just stick, with just reminding them of the main, all the steps that make IN.FORM successful every week. And I include like a recipe. I usually do a snack recipe and a smoothie recipe. I try to also at least 2 or 3 times during the 13 weeks to make some fun smoothies that are different. Like I do, like a all veggie smoothie, like no fruit and stuff like that, and smoothies that taste really good, and that they are able to discover new ways to make foods, because it's hard, to change your lifestyle and the way you eat overnight, of course. And when you tell them, okay, let's make an all veggie smoothie, they're like, oh my gosh, what is that going to taste like? But my smoothies, not because I make them, but they taste really good. Even they are like children proof. Children that have never had any veggies, that moms are like, no, she or he doesn't eat any veggies, and it's so hard, and I don't think I can ever do this and that. And I'm like, okay, well, let's try this, you know. And so when they see that they keep coming back to get more, they are like, are you kidding me? So, you know, I try to put together recipes that they can use that are easy to follow, because I think that is a really important part of the program. People all of a sudden are like, where am I going to eat now if I can eat this or that, or, you know, things like that. So I try to always give them that input. And I also do phone calls, personal phone calls with the participants that I see that for some reason they are being a little, you know, that they are not progressing as they would like to, or things like that. So I ask them, if you want me to, I can call you and follow up with you to give you some ideas of how to continue with your progress. And I think that is very important too, because, you know, it's impossible to do all of that when you are with a group. But then if you have the attention to do it personally with them, then they feel that they're taken care of in a more personal, closer way, that they can be more successful, you know, in the next few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then of course, you know, that I started doing some, well, I did a corporate group last year. I had the opportunity to introduce this to a health fair, and the ski resort here in town was very interested for their employees. And so that's one of the things that I really have liked a lot, and I want to pursue to get more groups like that, because it's very, it's awesome. You know, you can get a group of employees from different companies and change their lives as well, which is really good, because usually these corporate employees, they have very, very stressful schedules, and you know, they really, they have their times very short to be able to do other things. And so when you include something like this within their morning schedule for an hour, and they know that they can do something different for them and their bodies and their lifestyle, it was a really great opportunity. And I think it impacted all these employees that participated. They are super happy with the results. One of the participants became a coach, and but you know, the rest of them, everybody's really excited and happy with the program, and hopefully we're gonna do it again this summer with newer employees. But the corporate groups are it's a great niche too. You know, can you imagine if we reach a lot of corporations with this program? I think a lot of lives can be incredibly changed for the best. You know, there are a lot of people that spend hours and hours sitting in front of their desks, and they have never experienced to include any healthy snacks or a healthy way to start breakfast and stuff like that. So it was a very learning, educational, enriching, and powerful way for them to look at their health in a different way. So those are the things that lately I have been using.
Wow, I love it. Yeah, you shared a whole bunch right there. A lot of really good ideas, Lillian. Excellent. Well, thank you. And I'm sure in the time we have remaining, we'll get some more really good suggestions from all of you. Let's ask another question for the entire panel, and then we've had several questions submitted that we'll go through and maybe direct to each of you. But next, let's ask this question and get your thoughts. We know that the products, the IN.FORM weight management products, are essential to the success of the program. Sometimes we might find it a little challenging to talk about the products and get your participants to purchase the products. Other times it might be a little easier. You don't need to spend too much time answering the question unless you would like, but just in general terms, how has that gone for you? And Jennifer, let's start with you. Are you able to get your participants to comfortably purchase the products to help them have a better experience?
Absolutely. I find that, you know, taking the time to discuss and really explain the products to them and how they're going to help them and just even using my personal experiences and then previous class participants, their experiences with different products and what worked and what didn't work for them and their situation for somebody who may have a similar situation with the other person, that's really helped them say, oh, okay, you know, I can definitely see the benefits of it, and it really eases that transition to add in the supplements along with the nutrition and lifestyle changes.
Okay, very good. That's good to hear that it's not a tall task to get them to see. And like you said, so much of it is based on you explaining in detail what the product will do for them and helping them feel confident that will give them the desired result. Linda, how about you? Are you able to promote the products comfortably for your participants?
Yes, I don't have any problem promoting the products because I've used them on a lot of people, and I've seen results on hundreds of people at this point. So for me, I have the confidence and the experience using them. So by keeping it simple and just giving them a few choices, they can make selections without it being a big complex program. But also, I think that's the biggest motivation for getting getting a class started, is because the more you can get testimonials and the more you can actually see how it works with other people, the better coach you're going to be.
Good. I completely concur. Nice. Thank you, Linda. Lillian, how about you?
I don't have any issues either, and I think every group is different, of course, you know, but the fact that, well, it comes to the same, you know, to the root of it, like your passion for knowing nutrition change for so many years, how the products work. I think that is really important because you can just say it and tell them, you know, this works really good, and if you use the supplements, it's going to be even way better. So, and then having all the choices that we have and knowing and being confident that you can help people in any specific area that they're struggling. That's another thing that I feel that I love this program for. You know, that we feel really confident to be able to help people that have tried everything and before and nothing has worked and things like that. And so I have no issues with that, and I think that with the corporate group, actually, I was so blown away of the way it worked, because the company paid in advance for their packages, for their product for 3 months, you know, for the entire time. So it was amazing, and it was a really incredible way for me to see another opportunity of how to market the product for the group. Because everybody had their basics covered for the first 3 months, and it was awesome. It was awesome for me. It was awesome for them, and yeah, I have no issues. I think that it's a given thing, you know. When you start your program, you just have to portray it that way, and most people like get it immediately. They like that, and they see the results, of course.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Ultimately, the results, for sure. Okay. Good feedback. Thank you, ladies. Jenna asks the question, and Linda, I'm going to start maybe with you, if you can share your thoughts to Jenna's question. She says, I have a group that is not seeing much in the way of results because they are not being compliant in the program. What can you do as a coach to help motivate compliance? I would suppose
that is a big question.
Yeah, I bet that's
the question of the day.
There you go. All right. So what are your thoughts?
I have a lot of thoughts on that, because they're not doing it. And they love to come in and put the blame on somebody else, but they know they're the ones not doing it. What I created that is working really well with me is that I have a circle drawn out, and it's really high tech. It's literally a circle with 5 different boxes, and in it are 5 different little triangles. And within that, I put each component of being healthy: what they're eating, the protein they're taking in, their water, their exercise, and their accountability. So when they sit there and we go over this every few weeks, I'll say, are you doing every single piece of the puzzle. Because if you're going to pick and choose, those are the kind of results you're going to get. If you're going to tell me I don't really like water and I don't really want to exercise, well, you're not going to get 100%. So I really put it back on them. You know, I really say, what are you doing and what are you not doing? Because it takes all the components to be well. You can't just pick and choose on that. So I put it back on them because they do love to think this program doesn't work. And this program doesn't work. I'm classic for saying, you know what, what's not working for you? The good food, the water, the exercise.
Okay.
Sorry, Scott, I'm kind of straight up.
Good. And Linda, I'm having a little bit of a challenge hearing you, and maybe it's just on my end, but you're saying that you put it straight back on them, and that's
I do. I put the. Can you hear me, Scott?
Barely, and I'm not sure about the folks. Maybe the folks on the call can hear okay. So
I can hear Linda just fine.
Can you? Okay.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, good. All right. Yeah, it must be just something on my side. So yeah, go right ahead. Thank you.
Oh, that's pretty much what I do. You know, it is an accountability program, and if they're not doing it or they're choosing not to do different components of the program, those are the results they're going to get. There is no magic bullet. So I am pretty straightforward with them. They're tired of starting over, and when they come in and they say, "Oh, I'm not," it's usually because they're not doing something. And you know, I can't go home and do it for them as much as I want to. I can't. But I usually put it back on them, and I ask them what they're doing. And once they sort of, you know, have that little talk with themselves, it seems like we get results moving then.
Okay. All right. Ultimately, they're responsible, aren't they? So you remind them of that. Excellent. Jennifer, Lily, any additional thoughts to that particular question regarding compliance?
That's where I will have that one-on-one meeting with them if they're really struggling, and that's where I talk with them about what it is that's holding them back. And it's always comes down to, you know, something that happened in life, or there's just more stress, or they're just not motivated, and that's where we look at what it is that they're struggling with and brainstorm ideas. Okay, what's going to be easy for you to start incorporating this? What are some baby steps that we can take? Because it's not the program that's failing, it's their commitment, it's their motivation level. So it's just, you know, what Linda's saying. I don't have the wheel, which that is a great idea, Linda. I love it. But that is pretty much, you know, sitting down and talking with them about what it is that they're not doing.
Okay. All right. Excellent. Let's address another question from Jenna. And Lily, we'll have you start off, if you would. She talks about how she'll share with her participants how important cleansing is and the benefits that they'll see from doing a cleanse, but she mentions that they don't seem to be buying into actually doing one. She asks, what more can I do to help them see the importance and actually jump on doing a cleanse? Do you encourage your participants to do a cleanse as part of the 13 weeks?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's crucial, especially the more and more we learn about how important the gut health is for being successful, you know, with not only with the program, but to really change things in the body. And I love sharing with people, like show them a video of what the intestinal system is. Like they need to see it live, like they need to see how it works, how it functions, and why the cleanse is important. And I think that sensibilizes people a lot. There's one thing that, you know, that you show them the product and in the box and everything like that and tell them what's in it. But if they see visually what their body is like inside, that has motivated people, a lot of people, to do the cleanses. You know, they understand that they are like, oh my goodness, yes, I am toxic and I need to do something. And cleanse, you know, the cleanse is important. So seeing something visually is important. And also, well, testimony, you know, from people, I think they're very powerful too. And so I would do that. You know, I would use those tools to motivate them to do the cleanse and to understand that it's a really important part of eliminating toxins, especially when they start losing weight. You know, they need to understand that part inside the body.
Okay. Excellent. I like the idea of using visuals and getting testimonials from other folks that have done a cleanse in the past. Yeah, that ought to get hopefully some good ideas for Jenna to consider, and others. Thank you, ladies. Linda, let's have you address a question from Sarah. She asks, how much muscle would be considered good according to the BioTracker? Do you have a kind of rule of thumb?
I kind of have the rule of thumb about 2/3 of their weight.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, so Scott, I want to address the toxic thing real quick just because I agree exactly with Lillian on that, and I like to spend the first 20 minutes of Detox Week telling them where the toxins are coming from, because people don't understand where they're coming from, and I really impress upon that. So now back over to your question, Sarah. I always say about 2/3 of their weight, but you know, the first night when you get the numbers, I kind of look at that as your baseline, and I want to see that increase every single week while the fat percentage is going down to make sure we're losing the right kind of weight. So I don't really zone in on the exact number. I just want to see improvement of it.
Good. Okay. That is a great suggestion. Thank you. This is a question for all three of you, if you would. Carol Ann is asking, does anyone advertise in newspapers? Have any of the three of you tried advertising for your groups in a newspaper?
I have not tried that yet. I do have a local paper in the new city where I'm going to be working out of that actually runs free ads for certain businesses. And so I'm going to give it a shot and see how it goes. I do know there are some people, I've heard other IN.FORM coaches who have ran ads in newspapers that did have success with it. It's just going to depend on your demographics if the newspaper is truly actually read.
Okay. Very good. Thank you, Jennifer. Linda, Lily, either of you tried advertising in newspapers?
I don't use newspapers around me because I have so much competition, and I'm in a really busy area just outside of Chicago. I feel like it would get lost. I've been using my little bit of marketing dollars in things that are a little bit more, I think, a little more spot on for me. So I've been like donating, you know, oils classes or the first night of IN.FORM to schools and health fairs and things like that versus trying a newspaper.
Okay. Very good. That kind of supports what Jennifer was, knowing your demographics. Yeah, some places it would work and some places probably not. How about for you, Lily?
You know, it's interesting because I tried it for the first time last summer and it did not work for me, but you know, opposite to Linda, we are in like a tiny community here, and it's interesting, like Facebook and health fairs and just word of mouth and getting to people in touch directly with word of mouth has worked better for us, or for me, and the other coaches here in town. But we were thinking of maybe trying it again this summer. You know, we put an ad, and actually we were charging very, you know, we gave a super price and everything, and we did, I think we got one person interested. Like, we advertised it for like 3 weeks. So it was a little expensive, and I thought, well, I guess it's not our best choice right now, and you know, we'll see if we try it again. But for us, really, for me and our coach team here in Elgin, it didn't work very well, unfortunately.
Okay. Good feedback. And Carol Ann, hopefully that gives you some food for thought. You just might talk with maybe some local companies where you're at and see if they've tried it, if it's worked for your particular city. But I think the ladies have given some good things to consider. And that leads very nicely into the next question. And a couple of you have already touched on the way that you advertise, but Jonna is asking specifically, how do you advertise your IN.FORM groups? So I'll just open that up to whoever the three of you would like to take that question.
I mainly advertise on Facebook, and I do go to a few local businesses. I'll print flyers. I'll go meet with local businesses and hand flyers out. And then I work out of the yoga studio where we have flyers that are hung throughout the center. So that's really, it's pretty minimal for me. So other than that, I haven't had to do much advertising.
Okay. Linda, how about for you? I know a lot of your participants come from word of mouth as well, correct?
Yeah, I would say 90% of my business right now is just from people who've been through the program telling other people. But having said that, I do flyers in like the local coffee shop and the local gym right down the street from me. I do Facebook a lot. I do a lot on Facebook. That brings in quite a bit of business. And I just have a Tammy Matthews hanging in my window at the shop. I've done very minimal advertising as well, but when I first came out of the gate, my very first couple classes, I was sticking flyers up everywhere for the most part.
And did you find that the businesses you went to were generally open to that?
I did find that they were. I feel like it's a little step back from all the social media a little bit. I think I share this a lot when I certify coaches, is that I take the flyer that Nature Sunshine's made and I put 2 on a page, so they're a little bit smaller, because I know as a business owner I'm not going to put somebody's 8.5 by 11 on my counter because that's valuable space. But if it's half the size, I sure don't have a problem with it. I feel like people were very receptive to it.
Okay, excellent. Lily, any additional thoughts from you as far as advertising?
Well, we have we do it through the store, of course, too, you know, in town with Nature's Remedy, where I work at, and we do flyers. We just do a little word of mouth, actually. I mean, and Facebook, you know, are the main things. You know, we put some posters at outside of the grocery store, the bank, churches. You know, my first group that I had was from my church, and I think that's another really good area that, you know, where people can get some good context. And just, I mean, there it was really just word of mouth, just telling people about it, and just telling them all about IN.FORM, and that was it. But that's what I do usually.
Okay, good suggestions, all 3 of you. Thank you. Let's scoot along to another question from Nilia. She mentions that tonight is her second class of the 13. She says, I've had 2 people drop out so far. I'm not sure what I can do or if it's par for the course. Ladies, I'll just open it up to whoever. Is it fairly common that you'll have a person or 2 maybe drop out, decide that the time's not quite right for them?
I would say, Scott, that typically I have 1 drop out. I think that's just kind of the way it goes. Mm-hmm. And that's okay, because they're not ready, and that's just an exercise in frustration if they're not ready for both of us. What I do, though, is if they've already sat through 2 classes, I don't give them a refund. I give them a credit for when they are ready, that I'm going to be here waiting for them.
Good. Okay. Yeah, so don't take it personal.
I have the same experience.
Sorry, go ahead, Jennifer.
I have the same experience. I have the same experiences as when it has typically, you know, 1 will drop out, and that's where I just leave the credit there for them, so when they're ready, it's there for them.
Okay.
Because if somebody's not ready, they're not going to really go through the program and stick with it. So they have to be ready for it.
Good. Okay. And Jennifer, while we're speaking with you, Nilia, the same person that asked the previous question, she's wondering how much you charge for that 30-minute extra session you give to your participants during the month. Is there a charge? Is that part of the tuition for the class?
It's part of the tuition. Mm-hmm. Yep. I don't charge any extra for it. I just include it.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Ladies, here's a question from Belinda I'm going to pose, and then whoever would like to tackle it. She says she has a client with weight slowly going down, but so is muscle and bone mass numbers. She says the client is following the suggested program, wondering why that might be happening. So that's part 1, and then part 2 of her question is kind of the strategy or the secret to getting the metabolic age to move down. So Why would muscle and bone mass numbers be declining along with weight? And then what do you suggest to help metabolic age go down? Any thoughts?
Well, Scott, my first question would be, is the fat going up? Because if it is, they're not exercising.
Okay.
They're not moving enough. They're not building. They're not building muscle. That would be my first thought. My second thought is, as far as the metabolic age, they just need. In my mind, I would suggest a really good cleanse, and they need to move. The numbers naturally move when they move more.
Okay, that's one thing I've heard. It's one of the key contributors to getting that metabolic age to go down is the increase of exercise. There seems, as you're saying, if they move, there seems to be a nice correlation between metabolic age declining as activity levels go up. Okay, very good. We just want to make sure we get through as many questions as possible. So Linda, back to you. Jenna is asking, you mentioned early on that you make your classes fun and energetic. Can you give us a couple of examples of what you do to bring in that element of fun and energy?
Well, you know what? I don't take myself too seriously. That's the first thing. So when they come in, I am always on the same page and on a journey with them as well. So it's easy to get them talking once I tell them about my little trip up for the week, or I tell them what my little goals are for the week. But I do all kinds of crazy things. I have, sometimes I'll have music going and have a little dance party going. Some nights I have this lady across the street who owns a spice store sitting here with samples and fun things to do. I try to think about when I was in school, and you dread sitting there listening to the teacher go on and on and on. I try to do something fun, something they're not quite expecting. So we'll maybe do meditation, or we'll do, one night I showed them how to use one of these exercise bands, and we all just played around with the bands for a while. I just make it so they don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be a good time.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Oh, nice. Excellent. Lily, someone is wondering if you can share your veggie smoothie recipe. This is Michelle is wondering.
Yes.
Do you?
Absolutely.
Okay. Excellent.
So what I do is I just put like 2.5 cups of green veggies, and I usually do kale, arugula, chard, spinach, and you can add like broccoli, asparagus, parsley. So just sometimes I do like a 10 veggie smoothie, which is like 10 green veggies in it. And I do the 2.5 cup water, ice, 2 scoops of love and peas, and then this is a secret for, like a little bit of a tip for people that don't want to taste veggies, or even if you want to give it to your children. I add a Solstick Nutrition in it. So that really makes it so yummy. Like you don't even know that there's no fruit in it, but it still tastes sweet because of the love and peas and the Solstick gives it. The Solstick Nutrition gives it a really, really good flavor. And but I usually have the green drink in between meals, like mid-morning and mid-afternoon. It's an incredible, awesome help for cravings, especially cat cravings and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it has a lot of greens though. Like it's more greens almost than any, than water basically. It has to. It's not really thick because I use water. I don't use milk. But it is a beautiful green color that you have to come up with, and it's hopefully 6 to 10 veggies.
Okay, sounds incredibly healthy and tasty too. So well done. Thanks for sharing that with us. Let's take a couple more questions here. And Jennifer, I'm going to ask you this question from Marilyn. She's wondering, does the stress and the lack of sleep, does that have a correlation on metabolic age? In other words, does
the stress and what?
And lack of sleep, would that affect metabolic age?
Oh, absolutely. I believe so. If you're not sleeping, your body's not cleansing and healing as it's supposed to in the night. And if you're more stressed out, of course, there's going to be more sleep problems. You're going to have a tendency to want to reach for those unhealthy foods, because you're going to have more food cravings typically the more stressed out that you are.
Okay, good. All right, excellent. Thank you for that, Marilyn. Great question. And Karen just wrote in. She says, I can tell by my experience that yes, it does. So thank you, Karen. There sounds like a definite correlation. All right, ladies, we'll have this be our last question, and then we'll wrap up with a couple of quick announcements. But a couple of folks have written in wondering what you charge for the 13 weeks. So Lily, let's start with you. What do you charge for your 13-week experience?
Well, I'm currently charging $195, $195 plus the manual. So it comes to like, I don't know, $215, something like that. But the classes are $195 for the 13 weeks. Okay,
very good. Linda, how about you?
I charge $249.
Okay, $249, and again, just it's going to depend a lot on where you live. Linda, as I happen to know, and as she often will mention, she lives in a relatively wealthy part of or suburb of the Chicago area, so you're able to get that from folks where maybe a less or an area that's maybe a little more economically challenged might struggle. So this is good. So Lillian, $195, Linda, $249, and Jennifer?
I charge $250, or they can pay $100 a month for 3 months, making it $300, and then that does include their manual and their one-on-one consultation each month.
Okay, good. So nice examples, nice cross-section of different pricing. Excellent. All right. Well, Jenna schools in one more question that we'll ask, and she says, my classes tend to go about an hour and a half, including the weigh-in. I can't seem to get it shorter than that. Any tips?
Have less material? No, my first one is probably an hour and a half, and then every other one after that, I'm pretty spot on at an hour. I do my portion of the speaking for the first 20 minutes, and then let them talk for 20 minutes, half hour, and then I start locking up because otherwise it can go on forever.
Okay.
So I keep it very efficient, and I don't measure every week because that takes a lot of time. I weigh every week, but I don't always measure every week because that is a time sucker.
Okay. All right. Lily, Jennifer, any thoughts?
Mine are usually an hour to an hour and a half. It just kind of depends how the discussion rolls. But yeah, I've tried shortening them to an hour for the most part, but there's weeks it does go to an hour and a half. But I allow myself that time if need be.
Okay. How about you, Lily? How long do your classes last?
Well, they go for like an hour and 15 minutes. I used to make them a little longer because I love the teaching part of it, so I was including like extra material and research, like videos and stuff like that, which is really good too. But then you have, every group is different. So when I did the corporate group, I learned how to do things in 1 hour.
Okay.
And I like that because, we all want to have the time and everything, but at the same time, you don't want it to be too long. So I adjust to 1 hour, an hour, 10, 15 minutes at the most now. Yeah, okay. and it works well for people.
Good. Yeah, just I think some groups maybe are fine going a little bit longer. If you could just read their body language a little bit, maybe they're okay. So just read your audience, I guess, and yep. But I agree. There is so much that you want to share. It's just so hard to fit it all in to that time frame. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. You experts, thank you, especially for imparting some of your wisdom to all of our listeners. And let me just begin to wrap up with a couple of final comments here. And that is, as you've probably been hearing, if you've been part of our webinars this month, we're having a fun month of March we call March Madness, where you can win free airline tickets, hotel stays, football tickets, Broadway concert tickets, all for getting people started in IN.FORM. And the rules are pretty straightforward. If you start a new IN.FORM group in the month of March, for each participant of your group that has a 200 QB or greater initial order, you'll receive 1 raffle ticket for that person. Okay, if you can also get that participant to sign up on our Sunshine Rewards auto ship program, you'll receive 2 raffle tickets for that person. So we plan to give away over $7,000 in prizes. We do need to have you get your group submitted into the coaches portal. That's how we'll know who the people are that are eligible for the drawing. Let me just follow that up with just a final little rules section here. It says the new groups must be started by the 31st of the month, so you still have about a couple more days. Must be reported through the coaches portal by the 7th of April. Now we also need you to include the account number for each new participant so that we can just make sure that that 200 QV requirement was accomplished. And it says here prizes will be awarded weekly through a drawing, and you know what we've decided to do is we're holding true to our commitment to give away all of the prizes, but rather than conduct them weekly through the month of March, what we've decided to do is to have the drawing shortly after April the 7th. We'll make sure everybody's aware of when that drawing is and certainly who the winners are, but we wanted to wait until we had everybody have a chance to get their names in for the drawings. And so that is still forthcoming, and we look forward to announcing the winners very soon. Also, just a reminder that if you start a group in the month of March with 5 participants or more, you're going to receive everything that you see on your screen here. We've become aware of several groups that have started in the month of March, and as mentioned, you still have a couple more days to get a group up and running. We would love to send you this fun incentive pack early April for getting your group up and running in March. Now, a reminder, in addition to the things that we just looked at on the previous screen, we're going to send you 10 NSP power shakers and 10 reusable IN.FORM bags that you can use however you would like. You can give them to your participants. You can use them as your prizes that you give out during the 13 weeks, or really whatever works best for you. We've gotten a lot of good feedback on our new IN.FORM Coaches portal. You've helped us discover a couple of additional bugs, but as we discover them, and we thank you for letting us know what those bugs are, as you have instructed us what the bugs are, we're getting those taken care of, and I think that we are all really pleased generally with how the IN.FORM Coaches portal is going, and it's only going to get better. This is a place where you would go and upload and manage your IN.FORM groups, manage your participants. It's also where you can find out if you've qualified for the IN.FORM promotions. You can track your participants' data that you get from the BioTracker there on the Coaches portal. It will allow you to help make good product suggestions for your participants. There's an additional portal just for your participants where they can input information about them as well. And really, it's the home for all of our IN.FORM resources. So if you have not ventured over to the Coaches portal yet, we hope that you'll do so soon. You can get there through the main Nature Sunshine website. And you see, if you click, after you've logged in on our website, if you click on the Members tab, you'll see there is an IN.FORM column right here, and in red you see circled the link to get to the Coaches portal. So that will take you right where you need to be, where you can upload all the information and accomplish everything that we were just mentioning. For those of you that are going to convention, just a little reminder that we have some excellent next generation training that is planned to be shared at convention. Come and learn all about the powerful new enhancements to the IN.FORM program. These 3 ladies that were our experts on our panel today, they've been part of a team of people that have helped us make some nice adjustments or enhancements, improvements to IN.FORM, and they will all be revealed at our national convention in Dallas here in just a couple of weeks. So if you're coming to Dallas for convention, we hope that you'll stick around one extra day. On Sunday, April the 17th from 9 to 5 p.m., we have a next generation training just for those of you who have already become certified IN.FORM coaches. It is free. It will include a nice lunch, and additionally you'll receive 200 bonus I-Inspire points just for attending that next generation training. We want to get the fun, new, exciting information out to you just as quickly as we can. So there's a little extra incentive to come and to participate with us. You can register for the Next Generation training by calling our customer service team, and they'll get you on the roster for that particular class. For any people in your groups that may be attending convention that are not yet certified coaches, while the advanced training is going on, we're going to be offering a regular traditional IN.FORM certification class. It will be held, again, same day, same time. There is a cost to this class. It is $325. It does include lunch, and the participants that get certified that day will also receive a 200 bonus I-Inspire points as well. And customer service can get you all, or get them all registered for the certification at convention as well. So with that, we invite you to join us again after National Convention. This will be our last weekly IN.FORM webinar until after convention. We'll have some very exciting training to share with you after convention, so watch your email inboxes here in another week or so with the date and time of our next IN.FORM weekly webinar, where we'll have a chance to, again, be sharing some of this great information that will be launched at our national convention. So until then, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you as always for your sharing some of your valuable time with us. We'd like to send a special thank you to Jennifer Scarangella, Linda Lalonde, and Lillian Dorito for being our panel of experts. Thank you so much, ladies, for what you do and being willing to share some of that wisdom with the rest of us. We appreciate that. And for all of you IN.FORM coaches, we admire and applaud you too for the good that you're doing, for the lives that you're changing for the better, and we hope that you'll keep it up. We hope that you're enjoying being an IN.FORM coach, and we look forward to additional exciting IN.FORM stories from all of you in the weeks and months ahead. So go enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and we'll look forward to getting back with you all shortly after National Convention next month. Thanks so much, and so long.